You're trying so hard, aren't you? Chasing that elusive, better version of yourself, devouring self-help books, waking up early, journaling, meditating. But beneath all that effort, there's a whisper of exhaustion, a persistent feeling that something isn't quite right. It's the gnawing suspicion that despite all your self-improvement efforts, you're still stuck, still battling the same old demons, perhaps even feeling worse than before. This isn't about laziness or a lack of discipline. This is about the insidious traps hidden within the very pursuit of self-growth. It's about the subtle ways we can weaponize self-improvement against ourselves, turning a path to freedom into a gilded cage. You're not alone in feeling this way. Millions of us are caught in this paradoxical struggle, striving for a peace that forever remains just out of reach. I remember when my life became a relentless checklist of shoulds. Every morning I'd wake up with a surge of anxious energy, determined to optimize every minute. Read a chapter of a dense nonfiction book? Check. Meditate for 20 minutes? Check. Journal 2 pages of profound insights? Check. I was a machine, meticulously ticking off tasks, believing that each completed item brought me closer to some enlightened, perfectly productive version of myself. But the more I checked, the emptier I felt. The joy of learning was replaced by the pressure of consumption. Meditation became another performance to ace. My journal entries were less about genuine reflection and more about proving how aware I was. I felt an immense pressure to constantly be improving, to be better, to be more. And the moment I wasn't, the shame would wash over me. I was so busy building this ideal self that I completely lost touch with who I actually was. It's easy to fall into these traps because they often masquerade as progress. They look like good habits, sound advice, and logical steps forward. But underneath, they can be undermining your very well-being. Let's unmask these common self-improvement traps that might be holding you captive. The first trap is the tyranny of the ideal self. You've constructed a perfect image of who you should be. Always calm, always productive, never procrastinating, perfectly disciplined. This ideal self isn't an aspiration, it's a weapon. Every time you fall short, you don't see an opportunity for growth. You see a personal failure. You constantly compare your messy, human reality to this pristine, unattainable fantasy. And the gap between the two becomes a breeding ground for self-criticism and shame. You're not striving for improvement, you're striving for perfection, and perfection is a mirage. Second, you're caught in the cult of constant consumption. You believe that the next book, the next course, the next podcast, the next guru holds the key to your breakthrough. You endlessly consume information but rarely apply it. Your brain is overflowing with theories and concepts, but your life remains largely unchanged. This isn't learning, it's intellectual hoarding. It gives you the illusion of progress without requiring the uncomfortable work of actual implementation. You're addicted to the idea of growth, not the messy, often frustrating process of it. The third trap is performative productivity. You're not doing things because they genuinely nourish you or move you towards your true goals. You're doing them because they look good, because they're Instagrammable, because they fit the narrative of a successful self-improver. You're optimizing your morning routine, not for your well-being, but for external validation. You're journaling because you should, not because you feel a genuine need to reflect. This turns self-growth into a show, a performance for an invisible audience, draining your energy and leaving you feeling hollow. Fourth, you're ensnared by toxic positivity and bypass spirituality. Every negative emotion is immediately reframed, suppressed, or labeled as something to overcome with a positive affirmation. You believe that good vibes only is the path to enlightenment. But by denying your pain, your anger, your fear, you're not transcending them, you're burying them alive. These emotions don't disappear, they fester, emerging later as anxiety, resentment, or a deep, inexplicable emptiness. You're trying to manifest a perfect reality while ignoring the very real, messy human experience that needs to be acknowledged and processed. And finally, the fifth trap is future faking. You're always living in the someday version of yourself. Someday when I finish this course, I'll be confident. Someday when I save enough money, I'll finally be happy. You postpone your joy, your peace, and your authentic self until some future milestone is reached. This is a subtle but devastating way to avoid living fully in the present. You are constantly deferring happiness, believing that your current, imperfect self is not worthy of joy or contentment. The finish line keeps moving, and you're forever chasing a future that never truly arrives. The major emotional shift for me happened when I crashed hard. All those carefully constructed habits, all that relentless striving, led not to enlightenment, but to burnout. I was exhausted, resentful, and utterly lost. I realized I was chasing a ghost, an idea of myself that didn't exist and never could. The meditation that was supposed to calm me felt like another failure. The journaling that was supposed to bring clarity only highlighted my self-criticism. I wasn't growing, I was shrinking, suffocating under the weight of my own expectations. It was in that breakdown that a new insight emerged. True self-improvement isn't about becoming someone new. It's about courageously accepting who you already are. It's about dismantling the shoulds and embracing the messy, imperfect, magnificent human being you are right now. It's not about adding more, but about shedding layers of unhelpful beliefs and external pressures. The real work isn't about acquiring new tools, but about learning to use the wisdom you already possess. This meant letting go. Letting go of the perfect morning routine. Letting go of the pressure to read every self-help book. Letting go of the idea that I needed to be fixed. It meant sitting with my discomfort, acknowledging my fears, and allowing myself to be imperfect without judgment. It was terrifying at first, like stepping off a cliff. But on the other side of that fear was a profound sense of relief, a quiet strength that had been buried under all the striving. The path to genuine self-growth isn't about relentless effort towards an imagined ideal. It's about gentle, consistent alignment with your true self, imperfections and all. It's about cultivating self-compassion, not self-critique. It's about presence, not perfection. Are you truly growing, or are you just running in circles, chasing a phantom version of yourself? The most powerful act of self-improvement might just be the one where you stop trying so hard and simply choose to be.